Talk about moments. This is me and just a random girl I met on the street. She was a fan of mine. No, this is Taylor Swift. Holy cow. I remember this day extremely vividly, too. This was one of the best days of my life.
Alessia Cara has a rare gift for turning words into emotion, engaging the hearts of anyone who listens. In May of 2013, she posted a black and white video to YouTube performing a cover of the neighborhood's Sweater Weather with nothing but her guitar, her signature voice, and a little bit of sass. Soon, the talented young singer was propelled into an extraordinary career, which has included touring with Coldplay and Taylor Swift.
Sweet. Now the Grammy-winning artist is gearing up for the release of her fourth album, Love and Hyperbole, on February 14th. Known for her powerhouse vocals and deeply empathetic songwriting, Alessia has earned numerous accolades, including multiple Juno Awards, MTV Video Music Awards, and the Grammy for Best New Artist in 2018. She's the sweetest. Please welcome Alessia Cara.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
The sweetest.
So happy that you're... I was just saying to my daughter that you were coming on the show, and she immediately started singing your songs. And it occurred to me in that moment that I was like, one of the big things that was missing from our musical landscape was you in the last few years. So we're so excited for this new release.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. Thank you.
How does that feel for you to hear something like that? People are missing you.
It feels amazing. Yeah. It's so nice. It's so nice to hear that, especially in a world where there's so much music and people move on so fast. The fact that I've had listeners that have stuck around and, waited for new stuff for the last almost 10 years is such a blessing. It's so nice, to know that there's people who still care and think about me. It's very nice. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, and this album is being released on February 14th, girl. Really?
Yeah. February 14th. Valentine's Day.
Are you a Galentine's or Valentine's kind of girl?
I'm a bit of both. Honestly, yes. In the last few years, I've definitely ramped up the Galentine's kind of thing. And I love it. We have so much fun. You just get to be in your pajamas.
Yeah,
you be with your girl.
great.
It's the best. So yes, I'm now an avid supporter of Valentine's Day.
I think I gotta start Broentine's Day.
Oh yeah,
hang out and we'll
Galentine's.
Galentine's.
Yeah.
That's better. That's the writer
that's
right
a good
there.
idea.
Broentine's. It sounds awful.
But yeah, when you talk about love, is this album a feature of love? Is it the roller coaster of love?
Yes, in a sense, yes. I mean, and not just romantic love. I think there's a lot of self-love in there as well, letting go of old love as well, and just a bunch of different things, love of life. So it just felt like an appropriate title and an appropriate theme, and of course an appropriate day to release it. But it's definitely not just about romance. I think there are a lot of different themes surrounding love and kind of all the ups and downs and the different facets of love as well.
Do you have any stories from February 14th?
That I can think of? I mean, not
I
really.
remember spending it by myself, and I've been married for 26 years, and I was just eating chocolates by myself. So
I have, yes, many of those. I mean, that's why I had to really ramp up the Galentine's, because there wasn't a lot of Valentine's happening. So, but yes, a lot of alone chocolate eating for sure. Nothing eventful other than that.
And this cover we were just looking at, this is
marveling at it.
incredible.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that you had that there. That's like a magic trick.
Explain all of this. So, a funny story. Just before you came in, we were talking about, is this a mathematical thing going on here? But not really. It's
Sangita's engineer brain, right? So we're talking about the title, Love and Hyperbole. And she's like, isn't there a math concept like hyperbole or something? And we found hyperbola, and she's like, that must be it.
I'm crazy, right?
Wow, the analytical. I mean, in a sense, I guess, yes. And there's a lot of symmetry there, so I see where you're going with it.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah, no, you're not crazy.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that definitely is in there for sure. I think I have more of an artistic. I'm more right brain than left brain, so I was thinking more artistically, metaphorically. This album is called Love and Hyperbole, so I wanted to kind of represent the love and hyperbole and how they can kind of work together, which is why they're holding hands, because I think you kind of need pain and loss in order to really understand what love and joy is, and vice versa. And I think it's also a little metaphor of having your own back, holding your own hand through life, and trusting yourself. I think ultimately sometimes love is not so much about trusting that it'll work out with someone else, but maybe trusting yourself through the process that you'll be okay no matter what. And so it's kind of that self trust in a way, and leaning on yourself. Is
that a concept, this image that you came up with, or who did you work with on this?
I worked with an amazing photographer named Alex Lucas. He's incredible. He's so great. And of course, the stylist is amazing. Everybody was incredible. But this concept, it was kind of a last minute thing that we wanted to do, and the second we were doing it, I was like, this has to be the cover. So I kind of had that concept the second we did it, and he put it together so beautifully and made it look really real and amazing. I could never do that. My Photoshop skills are not that good.
When did you start writing for this album?
I started writing about 3 years ago, I want to say. So the whole process from the first thing I ever wrote to now is about 3 years.
And have you been sort of, in a way, anxious to get these songs out to people and to perform them for people as well?
For sure, yeah. I mean, this is the longest that I've taken, I think, without releasing any music. In the last 10 years, this 3-year, not break, because I was still working very much, but this is probably the longest I've been away. And then, of course, COVID, and I didn't get to tour the last album. So it's been many years since I've, had the chance to tour anything and to play my music live for people. So I'm very, very anxious in a good way to get out there and do that.
Yeah. I mean, you're known for your writing, and was this a different experience for you? Because I remember, I think the last time we talked, you talked about doing it in a bathtub and doing it in a quiet space. And do you find, I guess, do you go different places now when you write your music?
I do. I mean, I still try to, write at home and kind of keep that tradition alive because I do love to do that, and it's how I started, and I like to hold on to like the innocence of that. But I also have, just been way more open to like go into the room with producers and write in front of them, because I think it's a nice kind of challenge, especially when you're someone who's a little anxious and shy. It's a nice challenge to like say an idea, even if it's stupid, and not worry about what someone else thinks about it. So I've been trying really hard to just like improvise in the room with someone else there and not be so hid away, and that's been a nice process too.
And do you write through your experiences, or is it some of it just in your head and just theories, or is it like...
I think it's honestly mostly personal experience. I want to say 90% personal experience, but then there'll be the odd time where, a friend of mine is going through something, or, I'm taking inspiration from like my mom or someone in my life, and I think, oh, that could be a good song, or maybe someone who's not a writer. I've had situations where, friends of mine who aren't writers have said, can you write this song for me? Because I want to articulate this, but I can't. And so I've written for other people as well. But for the most part, like 90% my own venting, it's my own experience.
And when the ideas come to you, is it like, how straight of a line is it between this idea and then fleshing it out on paper so that this is a story that you want to tell? Are you like in the car going, here's something, I got to get this down? Or do you have a space for yourself where you go, now I'm creating kind of deal?
I mean, I think for me, I try to just keep it like as natural as possible and catch an idea as soon as it comes. So I think that process looks different for every song. Like sometimes I'll go into the studio with like a concept in mind that like popped up, or other times oftentimes I'll just be like in bed and I think of a melody or like a lyric and I'll just like hum it into my phone. Like I try to just catch it as soon as it comes, and that looks differently for honestly every song throughout my whole career. Everything's been very different.
You're so good at it. Your words are so good. Like Dead Man, right? Like,
yes.
Dude, explain that song to me, because there's a lot of emotions in that song.
Yes, there are. Well, despite the title, no men were harmed in the making.
Okay, of course.
But yeah, that one, I actually kind of wrote that song retrospectively. So this was like the tail end of the album. I was looking back at, what is now the concept of the project, and I was thinking, hey, what's missing here? And I realized that, again, like going back to that concept of you can't really have the love and joy without the loss. And I wanted to kind of write about the loss and pain aspect of it, because I've been through that before, and I think I'm only able to be in a good place in love and self-love now because I had those experiences. So I wanted to kind of touch on them from a more removed place. So I kind of went back into the files of those feelings that I felt in the past about, relationships that just felt like you were alone, or, trying to grasp at straws to make something work when maybe the other person wasn't there, and it kind of felt like you're like looking at a ghost, in a sense. So that's why, I called it Dead Man, because it's like sometimes you feel like you're kind of talking to someone who doesn't even really exist, Do
you ever feel like you're that person who's the one who's always trying to connect and trying to make things happen, and sometimes you realize I have to pull back?
A little bit, yeah. I definitely am that type of person. I'm a very sensitive person. I'm a very emotional person. I'm also Italian, which doesn't help. The emotion, we're very intense.
Talks with your hands.
Yeah, talks with her hands, Yeah. So I'm like a very sensitive person. I feel a lot very, very easily, and so, yeah, like I have found that I have been the more emotional one. Also, just being a woman,
I know. It's a lesson right now I'm learning. Like, I got to pull back a little bit, right? Like, I think that's something that as you get older, as I learned from Jen, was that you just have to do things for yourself sometimes,
for
right?
sure. And not take everything personally. I think you got to realize everybody's going through their own thing. Everybody's worried about their own life and what's going on in their life, and you can't take things personally. And you also can't expect what you would do from other people because everybody's different, you know? So just because you would handle something some way doesn't mean the other person is going to, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong way. I think we're just different people, you know?
Is there a line that you ride for yourself? I guess the word would be boundaries, even self-boundaries. When an experience happens to you and you might think to yourself, is this music? Like, is there an opportunity for music here, or do I want to just keep this for myself? Like, how do you make that decision?
I try to just, how would I say? I guess for me, like, my inspiration for writing is always just to, like, get out a feeling that I don't know how to articulate in regular life. I find that, like, it's hard for me to express emotions through just, like, talking to someone sometimes when they're, like, really deep-rooted. So I find that every time I just, like, need to vent or, like, get an emotion out of my body or even, like, analyze it in a way that I can understand, that's when I put it on paper. But I also... I guess there's nothing really off limits. I try to just approach the way that I write it in like a more private way. Like, you know, like I'll be able to get the feeling across in an authentic way, but at the same time keep a lot of the details out of it so that it doesn't feel like too scarily personal.
Like you won't say Jack did this to me. Like,
I'm not gonna exactly.
Song,
no,
right?
of course.
On 19 photo.
Like on this day and here's this. Yeah, like, you know, there's things that are you keep private.
Yeah, like, show up.
Diary entry, like everything. Yeah, there's a way to like teeter the line.
I like that. Yeah. Okay, if you can pick whichever you want, it's just random, and
okay,
you didn't place it in any way.
No.
Okay, I'll just go for the top.
Okay,
the obvious one for now. Okay. Do I look at it?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
Hey, ooh. I like this one.
This is so funny.
We
oh my
need the
gosh.
story. I want the full story.
The story. Okay, so this is my family. That's my aunt, my dad, my mom, and my brother. We were on Family Feud Canada with Jerry D,
dream.
Our idol. Love him so much. This was the coolest day of all time. My family is like huge on Family Feud. Like we watch it all the time. And so as soon as this opportunity came, it was like a no-brainer. We were like, absolutely. And it's the coolest thing ever. Like we watch it back sometimes. It's just so funny. Like us on TV, like we have no yes.
Oh, good.
Okay, who's the MVP? Who was the MVP in the family?
We all carried. Like we really all did carry. I feel like I saved it at one point. My brother saved it at one point. My aunt did really well. We all like saved it at moments. I have to say, we all really carried. There was teamwork there. There was passion there. We were a little too intense. We faced Johnny Orlando and his family, and I think we were a little too much for them. We were,
so
but it was absolutely amazing.
Isn't that incredible? You guys watch Family Feud together, and
and now we're on it.
Yeah.
The whole time we were like, we have no business being on here. Like, who let us onto the show?
Also, look how cool everybody looks.
Yeah.
Everyone's like...
I know. They helped us with the post, too. They were like, you guys got to do better than that. So we did a couple takes, but this is what they landed on. It's incredible. We did.
Your mom looks so young.
She really does,
She looks
right?
amazing, yeah.
She looks younger than me. I feel like I'm her mom. I look like her mom. But yeah,
you're very
so
close
that's
to
the
your
story.
family, though.
Yes, yeah. Again, Italian family. You know, family's like a huge thing in Italian culture, and even just my family individually. Like we ate every meal together growing up, didn't miss one, and yeah, it's just like really important. So
when you come up with an idea for a song, do you discuss it with your family? Do you say, what do you think about this? Do they give their opinion on it?
They do. I've learned to not do that so early on anymore. I think I used to do that really early. And when you have opinions, like strong opinions a little early, you get in your head. So now I've separated myself a little bit from the process. And like, I don't show anybody until like, I think it's in a good place. And then I'll show them to see what they think. Because otherwise it can get too much if you have because everybody's so different. You know, my brother's like 25. My parents have different music tastes. Everybody's got different genres they like, so it's hard to gauge.
Is your brother ever coming at you being like, oh, you should do a collab with this person?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And it's always like someone that makes me feel so old. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, he loves hip hop music, so he's always trying to get me to collab with his favorite hip hop artist. So maybe, I mean, I love hip hop too, so who knows?
Why not?
So that he can hang out with them, basically.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I see you.
Perks.
Yeah.
You need the
I see you.
perks.
I
What's
think that's
happening?
what it is. Yeah, now I'm realizing he doesn't care about the music. He's just trying to hang with
Do
his
your
favorite
parents
rappers.
keep all your stuff, like your awards and everything, with them at the house, or do you get to keep them?
I keep most of them. They have my Grammy though, which I'm trying to get back because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get another one of those.
How is
guys,
that a
if you will.
negotiation? How is that like trying to get that back? Can you just be like, hey guys, I want my Grammy for my place?
I know, but I just feel so bad because they have it like on this little mantle and they're so proud of it, and it's like I feel so awful to take it, but I feel like the time is coming. I might just have to like slip it in my jacket one day, and, like, or maybe we can like co-parent it. Like do like I'll have it on weekends. Hopefully, we'll see. If I get another one, then they can keep the first one.
They can keep the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else we got.
All right, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. Oh, this is baby me. Oh my gosh, you guys went deep in the archives here.
Yes.
This is what I mean. For us, it's so special because we get to see you grow through your social media. And when we saw that photo, I'm like, look at that little one. Like,
now, we can't expect you to remember this.
Yeah, do you remember what's happening in this moment?
I actually do.
You do?
And I'll tell you exactly why. Okay, this was at my daycare. And I hated daycare with a passion. I just hated every minute of it. And I remember this was the last day of daycare, and they had like a little freezy party, which is Exhibit A right here. And I got there last, and so they only had like the purple ones left, and I hated the purple ones. And so my face right here is like upset because I had to have the purple freezy. I hated the grape flavored one. I know, but I hated them.
But that's the choice. The choice is like, I have to participate. Yeah. I love this as a concept. The specific thing I hate, I gotta go for it.
Yeah, right? And I did it, and so this is just me being like, I guess. I
the
guess
kid behind you is having a great time.
That needs to be a cover for an album.
I got the raspberry. I love raspberry.
Because she got the one that I wanted probably because I loved the raspberry. Yeah. So that's my face being like, I don't really like this. But
do you remember like kindergarten? Do you remember that far back?
No.
You don't? I vividly remember this daycare. I think it's because it was a moment I just didn't like being here, so I remember every detail. You know, when you're like, I don't know.
I like the
it's
hat,
like
the
a core memory. Yeah. I was pretty stylish, I must say.
That fit would not be out of place in 2025.
No.
Like, you could do that today.
It really wouldn't. Wow, I was ahead of my time, I must say.
Cute, yeah.
Thank you.
Look at her.
Like, you're very specifically like, this face is me hating this.
Yeah, you could tell though. Now that you have context, you could tell. It's like, I don't love the flavor of this, but I'm gonna just eat it anyway.
Do you like it now?
I am better with grape flavored stuff. It never really was my favorite though. It's still to this day not my favorite, but I do enjoy it more now.
Okay, so what's your favorite dessert? This is totally random questions, but
man. It depends. Like, are we talking the pie genre? Are we talking the cake genre?
Let's go with cake because I'm a big fan of cake.
Okay, cake. I love carrot cake.
Okay,
absolutely love it. Well, this isn't really a cake, but I love tiramisu.
Oh, I love tiramisu.
Yeah. I'd say that's my go-to dish. Like, if I had to make fight for my life, like to Gordon Ramsay, I would make a tiramisu.
Right. Okay. So when you're at a restaurant and they're like, anybody for dessert menus?
I'm always like, yes, I would like to see that. Yeah,
you have a second brain.
Yeah, there's always room. There's always room. My little cousin. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent. We can.
No, that's good.
My little cousin one time, we ate a big dinner and we were at a restaurant, and then someone said oh, do you have room for dessert? And he said I'm so full, and then when they asked if he had room for dessert, he was like yes, and then my uncle was like, I thought you said you were full, and he's like, no, I have room in my back, and I'm like, that's so true. It's such a good way to put it. I have room in my back, somewhere back here, there's room for it. So now I always say I have room in my back.
What's your favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert? It's a homemade one. I got to shout out my mom on this one because my mom makes the best pecan pie planet wide. I will say it, and I haven't had every pecan pie on the planet, but I remember being. The first time I ever got a theater gig. Yeah. Right? I was in a Mervis show. And we went to one of the restaurants as a cast. We were brought there by the producers. And I was like, oh, there's pecan pie on the menu. I'm going to get that for dessert. And I had it, and I made that face.
You made the purple freezy face?
Pie, and I was like,
well, you're gonna have to. We're gonna have to try it. We have to try your mom's pecan pie.
No, now I need to. I love pie. Pie is so good.
It's so good.
I really love pie. Okay, sorry. Next one. Ooh, this is interesting. Speaking of, because today is the 7-year anniversary that I won this Grammy. I got a text from my cousin.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. That's so crazy. What are the odds? Yeah, this is when I won the Grammy. And my cousin texted me today. She said, happy Grammyversary, 7 years. And I can't believe it's been that long. I cannot believe this day feels like a trillion years ago, but also it was a second ago.
When you think of art, so artists look at the Grammy and they're like, this is one of the things. This is one of those things that every artist I gotta get a Grammy. When when you're taking pictures with it, when they announce it's you, what is going through your mind in that moment when you're sitting there going, whoa, I'm holding this in my hands.
Yeah. It doesn't feel, honestly, it doesn't feel real. I kept looking at it being hey, this is mine. But I couldn't process that it was mine. It just felt like I was holding a fake award. I could not process, even to this day, when I see it at my parents' house on weekends when I get to see it, because I don't have it. It's just so mind-blowing. And my name is on it, and I remember this day, and I still can't process or compute the fact that it belongs to me, that it's mine. It's such a weird thing. It just doesn't ever feel like something you'll ever actually get in person. Like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It just, I can't process it. It doesn't feel real. Honestly.
Take us back to that day, because you said you remember this day, everything that happened in that moment for you. Like, you said it's surreal, but do you remember the feelings of that day?
I do. I remember being so anxious and nervous, of course, because I also had a performance that I was really scared about. I was also very sick.
Oh,
that whole week I was like extremely sick. So I was also like grappling with being sick and being anxious, and then also like overjoyed when it happened. Like, it was like so many emotions in the span of 24 hours that I will just never forget. I don't forget. I don't remember the details, but I always remember the feelings that I had, and which was a lot.
You were the first Canadian to win Best New Artist,
which I didn't know at the time. I did not know that. I found that out after, which I'm glad that I didn't know that, because I would have been maybe more nervous, like doing my speech if I had known that.
That's special. That is so special.
Very, very insane. I'm very, very grateful for that.
I love your hair too. It looks great.
Thank you. My mom did it. My mom did it that day.
No way.
Yeah, she's a hairdresser, so she did it for me.
She takes good care of you, doesn't she?
Yes, I have an at-home hairdresser at all times.
Yeah.
She's the best.
So
Are we doing
cute.
the
Yeah.
other two? Okay.
Go for it.
Ta-da! Oh my goodness.
Talk about moments.
Talk about moments. This is me and just a random girl I met on the street. She was a fan of mine. No, this is Taylor Swift. Holy cow. I remember this day extremely vividly, too. This was one of the best days of my life, obviously. Yeah. This was in Tampa, Florida, on Halloween. She invited me out as the 1989 tour, and she invited me to come sing Here, which was my only song at the time. Or maybe I had the EP out. Well, it was like the first single. It was the biggest song I had at the time. It was like one of the first songs I ever released. It was the first song I ever released. And we sang it together on stage. And hearing her sing my song in an arena full of people was one of the most insane moments of my life. And then she was so kind, like enough to take me backstage. She interviewed me for the album.
That.
Like, she gave me so much of her time, was so incredibly generous, and I will never forget that day. I got to take my best friends along with me, and we were just like awestruck the whole time. I just got off stage. As soon as this moment ended, I ran and I started crying. I just fell on the ground and started crying because I couldn't believe it. It was just such a moment. She was so nice. So nice.
Do you stay in contact with her now, or?
I do. I haven't talked to her in a while, but yes, after this, we did speak a few times, and she's always just been so wonderful to me. Very, very kind. So love her, and this was a beautiful moment.
I still love the self-awareness, because in your caption, I think you hashtag it like awkward hand placement or something. Like,
Oh, yeah, because what is that? Like, what am I doing? I just didn't know what to do with my, like, what is that? Like, holding her elbow?
I just noticed it.
It's so good.
It's like a weird prom pose. Like, what am I doing? I look so afraid. I was so afraid. But yeah, she was great. She was so nice to us.
It must have been kind of overwhelming, right?
It was extremely. I mean, because that was also the first time that I performed in an arena like that. Like, one of the first times I've ever been in front of 50,000 people, you know, and singing my song. And it was the very, very beginning of my career. So I had no idea what I was in for, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous.
When you think about what she's done for music, especially for females, like, it must be a proud moment for you too, to know that women's music can stand on its own. We think about what she's done in the last few years with her Eras tour. It's pretty spectacular.
It's incredible. Yeah, and I went to the show and in Toronto, and it's the most insane thing I've ever seen. I just could not believe her, like, her work ethic too, and like, she was up there like doing the dance moves, singing the millions of songs that she was singing, being so engaging every single night, like, for what feels like 10 years. Like, she's been on this tour for so long. It was incredible. It's so wonderful to, like, see, like you said, like, women in music, young women in music, like, writing from an honest place and having that be enough, you know, and just, like, you seeing somebody be themselves, you know, and being able to win through doing that is always so inspiring. And yeah, it was very cool.
There's
and
a lot of similarities between you two.
I mean, thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it. Sure.
From your music writing too, it's just powerful. You guys are so good with your words, and it really resonates with people. So,
thanks.
You know, I'm expecting you guys to be on stage again together.
Oh, that would be awesome,
wouldn't it?
That would be so cool. I should have just, like, rushed the stage in Toronto and be like, "Remember me?" That'd be amazing. I mean, hey, anytime.
Oh, that elbow.
Yes.
Now I keep looking at the elbow now.
Oh my God. Photos now. Like,
I didn't even notice my one shot. I had one opportunity and I fumbled it, but it's okay. Now we have AI. I can edit it or something, Photoshop it or something. Me doing the peace sign. This was, I'm trying to think of the city that this was in. This was, I think, on the Shawn Mendes tour. I think, I want to say Europe. I don't remember I wish I knew what city this is in. And this is me giving a peace sign to the crowd.
Look at that crowd.
I know, huge.
And doing this Europe tour was incredible because I had the chance to, I don't always get the chance to go to Europe, but like going to like other parts of the world is always so incredible because, it's one thing to like be, in your hometown and kind of be in the US and like where people speak the language and can understand the music. But then going to travel to like other parts of the world where English isn't the first language and seeing people sing your lyrics back to you without maybe even understanding what you're saying and just like feeling the music anyway is so incredible. Like always, I find it so fascinating going to other parts of the world.
Does it feel different? I mean, you're looking at this stadium of thousands and thousands of people. And if you were to have that experience here versus that experience there in Europe, does it feel different?
It honestly does. I mean, both are incredible, of course, but it does feel different because, it's one thing to like, see a number on a screen or on a chart of like, this is how many people have streamed the music. Like, it's wild to see that. But then when you actually are in the rooms and you go to these places that, I would have never seen, the parts of the world that I would have never seen otherwise. And I don't know, like it does feel different. It's just incredible to know that like your music reaches that many people and all those places and there's people that are touched by your experiences in that way. It does feel, and I feel like, I don't know, they're just like passionate over there too.
Just looking at that photo, do you take a moment to take that all in?
All the time, yeah. I mean, it's easy sometimes to like go into autopilot, and I think in the past when I was younger, I was just so overwhelmed that I would kind of be on autopilot and not really take in what was happening. But I think in the last 6 years, I want to say 6 of the 10, I really have tried really hard to like stay present in the moment and like look at people and just understand what's really happening. And I feel like it's just been so incredible to feel that, because it is really special. And I'm so lucky to get to do what I do and to be doing it for this long and have people still react this way is like incredible. So,
well, like we said off the top, we are so excited for this project, for you to be, again, like the people that missed you really missed you. And I think that'll be very exciting for you to get out and get in touch with like all those fans that have been looking forward to this next phase for you.
Thank you.
Last question. How do you define love?
Ooh, how do I define love? This is an excellent question. I got to think about this. How do I define love? I define love as something that expands you and shows you things about yourself that I think you need to see in a good way. And I think real love expands you. It doesn't suppress you. And so if you're in some sort of situation that you think is love that is making you feel smaller, I don't think it's love. Because I think love makes you bigger,
Oh, I love that.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's.
February 14th.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
We're going to do Galentine's Day?
Galentine's.
Okay.
What are you saying? Galentine's?
Galentine's Day.
Galentine's.
Because he said he wanted to do Broentines, and I said you got to do Galentine's. Like Galentine, yeah.
There you go.
Okay, that works.
Kind of.
You don't believe it.
No, I feel like Guyana. Like I don't know. We got to work on it. We got to. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense. Galentine's. Maybe you should go to Guyana on Galentine's.
That would be the perfect Galentine's.
Yes, it would be. It would be.
That's what I'm doing this year too. Galentine's. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. The elbow is insane. I actually can't.